And welcome back. Drop the Green, episode 22. As always, we're going to dedicate this episode to somebody. We're going to do our overview on manufacturers. We're going to recap Chicago, talk about who stood out, get into Drop the Green bets, do a little Pocono predictions, and we'll close with a stupid question. As always, my name's Austin.
My name's Spencer.
Let's drop the green.
It's been a long time gone since the truth's been told, and I've seen my head cut us low. Come on, save my soul with a bar guitar and a honky-tonk crowd.
And we're back. Episode 22. Gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna go first this time, Spence, because I promise I'm gonna keep it short.
Yeah, man, go for it.
We got a big late model race to watch tonight too.
That's what you were saying. Yeah. I know guys were a day late, so you can thank my mom for that. She came in and visited, so
No worries at all.
yeah, it was good to spend time with her.
Yeah, gotta make time for family.
That's right.
So when I think the 22, I think the 22 cat car.
Cat car.
Cat car.
Pull it up here real quickly for everybody.
So Bill Davis Racing. I also think of Dave Blaney.
Dave Blaney.
He drove that car.
Okay.
Scott Wimmer drove that car. But when I was really young, playing with cars on the carpet, it was Burton.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Burton fan, like slightest. But just when I think of the 22 car, I think of this car. But I've never liked the guy. And you know what makes me like him?
Is it just the Burtons?
I don't know. I never really had a problem with Jeff Burton.
Until he got to the booth.
I don't mind him.
I don't mind him either. Yeah.
I don't know. My dad does not like Jeff Burton at all in the booth.
No way.
He's like whines.
Does Jeff like Mike Joy?
I don't think I think he's neutral there. But he's like every time Jeff Burton, because I watched the race with my dad last weekend.
Yeah.
Every time Jeff Burton said something, my dad went. But I really, really hate Jeb Burton.
Yeah,
Ward's son.
Yeah.
Oh my! Is there anybody more unlikable?
Yeah, dude.
There's nobody.
Yeah.
But we'll just get in. Oh my God, it's so bad. So we'll get into Ward real quick. Born October 25th, 1961, in South Boston, Virginia.
Ooh.
Is how he talks. I don't know if you ever heard him talk.
I haven't heard him talk.
He's like, my name's Ward Burton. I can't make it up.
Really?
When we get done here, look up the he did an ad. There's like a blooper reel of him doing an ad for Caterpillar skid steers.
Yeah.
Dude, he can't say it. He's like, this Caterpillar skid steer Caterpillar. And he can't say, and like Jeff Burton does not sound like that at all.
No.
Doesn't sound like that at all. But yeah, Ward Burton, borderline illiterate.
Okay.
That's what he sounds like. But so he came up. Their dad owns a big construction company. Still does. I think Ward and Jeff's brother runs it now. But grew up late model racing. Got into the Busch Series in 1990. And in 93, he got 2 wins and finished 6th in points.
Dang.
So he took that same team he was with, A.G. Dillard, went to Cup in 94, and ended up getting released in 95 mid-season.
Whoa.
So didn't get too much into that. I'm not sure if he left or if they fired him, either one. I tend to believe he left, but I'll get to why I think that here in a second. So he leaves mid-season and goes to the 22 car for Bill Davis. It wasn't yet the Caterpillar car.
Okay.
But he leaves a couple races later in this season, wins Rockingham.
Oh, wow.
You're like, okay, well, maybe something's here. So 1999 ends up getting the big Caterpillar sponsor. I think, now obviously there's a reason these companies don't sponsor NASCAR anymore. We've talked about that, right?
Yeah.
But a blue collar brand like Caterpillar, I mean, nothing goes more hand in hand, I feel like.
That's up there with Carhartt. That should probably be in the sport.
Like
Duluth. There's a lot of great blue collar companies that should be in the sport.
It would make
sure.
sense, right?
Yeah, it would.
Now we got Kubota.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But stuff like that, and I just think of it as far as the activation, as somebody who worked for an ag company, we set up a booth at the Daytona 500. I mean, That's the clientele.
Yes.
I mean, you get people that come up and they're like, yeah, I also have a tractor, or I also have a skid steer. So a little bit of a tangent there, but that's what's really cool about this car. I mean, it's personifies what I think a NASCAR sponsorship should be, but never had a ton of success, but definitely not a slouch either. So 99, he gets that sponsorship. It ends up being his career best year in Cup. He finishes 9th in points.
Dang.
Gets a handful of wins. Ends up winning Darlington 2 times, I believe. So got to be pretty decent to win Darlington. And then in 2002, he wins the Daytona 500. Now this is the infamous Sterling Marlin incident.
Okay.
So there's a handful of laps left. They're under red flag. On Sterling Marlin's radio, they're like, your fender's rubbing your tire a little bit. And he goes, okay, Sterling Marlin. Do you know the story?
No. Go ahead.
Sterling Marlin unbuckles. They're under red flag. They're on the backstretch. Gets out of his car, goes up to the fender, looks at it, starts pulling it away from the tire. And the officials jump out and they're like, get in your car. What are you doing? Because what's the number one rule of a red flag?
You have to stay in your car.
Well, no, that you can't work on the car.
Yeah.
I mean, forget staying in the car.
Yeah.
You can't work on your car.
Yeah.
Get back in your car. And I don't know what his plan was. You know, and maybe the window nets were different back then, but you remember the whole thing with the window net with Blaney.
Yes.
Like you can't.
Once you take it down, someone has to put it up for you.
So maybe they weren't like that back then.
Maybe.
But I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking. So anyway, black flagged.
Disqualified.
Go to the back.
Yeah.
You know, and then who inherits the lead? Ward Burton leads the last couple laps, wins the Daytona 500.
Wow.
So can't take it away from him. But
nope.
They start struggling a little bit in 03. He makes up his mind. He's going to leave. And with 4 races left, he leaves. 4 races left in the 2003 season. He up and leaves.
Dude, this guy's sounding a lot like Matt, but
the
Lord told me that I needed to leave my ride.
And so the last thing I'll say, Bill Davis and Ward Burton have both done the Dale Jr. download. So,
okay.
But the Bill Davis one's a little more recent, so I remember that one. And Bill Davis said there's several times he heard from other teams that Ward Burton was shopping Caterpillar, saying, "Hey, Caterpillar likes me more than Bill Davis. Like, is there anything you can do for me?"
No.
And was doing that. Now Caterpillar ended up staying with Bill Davis, but some shady stuff.
Did Ward get a ride?
So he actually went to Haas.
Oh.
Before they were Stewart Haas.
Yeah.
Just Haas Automation.
Yeah.
Pretty terrible ride. That was never a good team until Tony got involved. So not sure what he was thinking, but yeah, just up and left. And so not, like I said, not a Ward fan in the slightest, but I love that paint scheme. I mean, I got a bunch of die casts, little die casts. I mean, toys.
Yeah.
But reminds me of my childhood. So
yeah, it's a good looking car.
A good looking car.
It
Yeah.
is. It's
Jeb threw back to it in the Xfinity Series last year, but I couldn't give 2 shits less about that.
Yeah.
So
of course. Yeah.
Dude, I do not like. Do you like Jeb Burton?
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't care about him.
Oh, I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah.
But, get us on a positive note. Who's your 22?
So my 22 is a dude that has had the most success that you could maybe possibly have besides like Kyle Busch, really, and that is going to be our boy Joey Logano, the 2024 Cup Series champion. Calling it now.
That's
it's
what
an even numbered year.
That's what history says, right?
That is. So little backstory on Joey Logano here. He started racing when he was 6 years old, racing quarter midgets, and that was in 1996. 1997, he won the Eastern Grand National Championship, in quarter midgets, being from Middletown, Connecticut. So he raced a lot of New England type of tracks, shorter tracks, stuff like that. Concretes, asphalt, those types. 1998, the next year, he won the Junior Honda Division Championship. As when he was 8 years old, crazy to think about. Of
course, right?
Yeah, dude cannot have a driver's license, and he's just out here whooping everybody. 1999, he was late model champ. He won 3 New England regional championships, late model B, and senior stock cars. So he won all 3 of those. Of course, right?
Of course, yeah. That's the Joey we know.
Exactly. And that so that was 99. Flash forward a little bit to around 2005. The only reason I wrote this down is because I thought it was crazy. Do you know Joey's nickname that he got?
Sliced bread.
Yeah, do you know who gave it to him?
Mark Martin?
No.
Who was it?
Yeah, I mean, Mark Martin said he was the real deal.
Yeah.
It was Randy LaJoy.
No kidding.
Yeah, Randy LaJoy
Okay.
gave him that nickname, Sliced Bread.
So I just real quick story it's the only time I interrupt you, but I thought it was funny. So not many people know that's his nickname.
Yeah.
But when he first came in, dude, it was a big deal when he first came in.
Yes.
But I did a Joey Logano meet and greet at Food City in Bristol, and like where he was sitting was the bread aisle. And I was like, did they do this on purpose?
Yeah, they had to,
It's
right?
Sliced bread in the sliced bread aisle.
That is a funny
And
story.
I hounded that joke all weekend.
I bet you did. I bet you did. Oh,
I think I got a Snapchat of like, it's like Joey and it's like sliced bread. And I was like, can you tell the difference?
oh my God.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So fast forward 2007. He's now 17 years old. NASCAR makes a new rule that you can run the Grand National Series as 16 years old, because I believe it was 18 before.
Okay. So what do we reverse Kyle Busch rule or?
Pretty much, yeah. I believe. I don't. It said it was a NASCAR rule, but he didn't race in a NASCAR like affiliated,
Sanctioned event. Okay.
sanctioned event that year when he was 17. But he did run the Grand Nationals division, which I would assume had some type of age, and they lowered it down. I don't know for him, but they lowered it. So
and I know he was also one of the several drivers that had fake birth certificates.
I believe so.
Growing up.
Yeah. 100%.
Like all these kids' dads were falsifying birth certificates.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It does. So he had 13 starts in that division. He won 5 times.
Oh my God.
Won 3 poles, 10 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. So if you heard me right there, the top 10s didn't matter because he finished top 5 in all those 10.
Yeah.
You know, it's
bless.
the same. So that gets him a ride in 2008, the next year, in the Joe Gibbs 20 Xfinity car.
Mm-hmm.
And he raced he picked up in like the middle of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he relieved somebody.
I think even back then they had a kind of an open car.
Okay.
But dude, I remember when he came in, like I watched his Xfinity debut and it was all about Joey.
Yeah.
Because they're like, this is the next guy. This is because Mark Martin, like you said, was like,
He's
even when Joey was
the
like,
real deal, is what he
said.
said.
Yeah, when he was like 16, Mark Martin was like, this guy will be a Cup champion. And everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
We don't even know this guy.
No, you don't. But so he raced 18 races with Joe Gibbs that year, won 1, and 13 top 10s. That's unreal. And I don't know. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I don't know how good. I figured that Joe Gibbs' car was decent.
Yeah.
But like,
this is also the time when a bunch of Cup guys were driving.
Yeah, they could drive as many as they wanted to.
So,
I mean,
you're banging doors with Kyle Busch.
Yes.
And Denny and all those
Kevin,
guys. Kevin especially.
Yeah, Kevin was racing all the time in those Xfinity races when they could back in the day. So 2008, flash forward to 2009. That's his first full season of the Cup, but he also runs 22 Xfinity races and wins 5 times out of the 22 races he ran, and got 16 top 10s. I mean, that to me is just ridiculous. Yeah. And then so his first full season as a rookie, again, I think you have to highlight it, is he got a win in his rookie year.
Is it at Loudon?
Yes.
Yeah.
New Hampshire.
It was rain.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't look
Yeah,
into
yeah.
it, but a win's a
But
win.
still, win's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter how you get it done, just to be in that spot.
Yeah.
I mean,
we don't see rookies winning
No,
anymore
we don't.
at all.
We don't. So, 1 win, 7 top 10s, and of course he won Rookie of the Year that year.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of goes. So that was with Joe Gibbs in the 20 car. Still, for the next 3 seasons, 2010, 2011, 2012, he runs that 20 car for JGR, and he actually only gets 1 win out of those 3 years. So for him, I would assume kind of a slump. Now, granted, that was his first year in the Cup Series, but I'm talking about his whole previous racing career. He had not.
Well, I remember everyone's like, this kid's a bust.
Yes, yeah.
That was the talk.
I read that. I read that they were thinking he's no good anymore. Well, then, come 2012, he moves teams to Penske Racing, and I didn't actually know that Penske was before it was Penske. It was Penske Racing.
They've had a bunch of they used to be like Penske South, Penske Racing. When they first started, they were some other name. Like they went through a bunch of branding. Now they're like Team Penske. And
Team
every
Penske.
Penske team is Team Penske.
Yes.
But
yeah. So there were Penske Racing in 2013. So this guy's a bust. Wins one time, finishes 8th in points that year. Just absolutely tears it up in the 22 car.
Mm-hmm.
And then we flash forward for the next 10 years, 2014 to 2024. He has won 2 championships, and in that 10 years, how many wins do you think he has? Because I counted them.
Put me on the spot here.
I know.
In that 10 years there, probably 25?
28.
No kidding. Which
20
is that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's
10
a lot.
years? That's 2 a year?
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than 2 a year.
It's more than 2 a year.
He
And
won,
I remember,
he won back to back to back. He won 3 in a row.
I remember 2015. That's the year that he probably should have won the championship, but
Kansas won.
got
Yeah.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kansas just like dumped him at Martinsville.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he won 5 or 6 races. There was one round of the playoffs that he won every race of the round.
Yes, that was the year.
Yeah.
He won 3 in a row.
Yeah, okay, I see
he
what you're
won
saying.
3 in a row.
Yeah.
He went back to back to back.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Absolutely unreal.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, he's not a bust.
Not a
He
bust,
won-
no.
he won
He just
28.
really needed the right people around him. And,
Yeah.
I mean, he was a kid. He jumped into Tony Stewart's team and you're a fish out of water.
Oh, yeah.
Dealing with those guys that are used to Tony. And I mean, you need some guidance, right?
Yes.
Obviously,
you need
driver.
not like a father figure, but you need someone to take you under your wing and not
Yeah.
just dog you all the
Right.
time.
And then someone to believe you if you're like, hey, the car is doing this.
Yeah.
If you're young and they're used to a Tony Stewart, they're going to be like, well, he just didn't know how to drive it.
Yeah, exactly.
So he really came into his own.
The other stat I wanted to highlight out of that was his worst finish in this 10-year spot. This is counting this year, but not counting this year because we haven't got to the playoffs yet. Is 17th. That's the worst he's finished.
Which I think was
he still made the playoffs that year, I believe.
No,
no,
because he was 17th. That was the year.
He had a win that year, though.
I think it was encumbered.
Oh,
if I remember right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's back when they wouldn't take the win away from you because Kevin Harvick got encumbered. You remember when his window was?
Yes.
That win was encumbered. So it takes away your playoff eligibility.
Okay.
And I think that was that 2017 when he was 17th in points.
I think it was yeah.
And then he won the championship the next year.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
It did. It worked out fine. But yeah. So I mean, shout out to Sliced Bread over here getting it done. And dude, not a fan either. Really, I don't hate him by any means, but I do not like seeing him win.
Dude, everybody, the casual, I'll say casual, but our old school, I'll call it the Facebook NASCAR fan.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
They hate this guy. He came up. His dad is loaded, right?
Yeah.
Loaded. Now, I will say Joey signed a development deal to Joe Gibbs Racing, I think when he was 14 or 15. So, Daddy's paychecks didn't need him.
Yep.
From 14 till he's 30 something now. You know what I mean? So he
Yeah.
he wasn't buying.
He only had to provide for him for 6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
he wasn't buying rides to get where he's at. And then when he first started, his dad actually got his hard card pulled one time, but his dad would go fight his battles for him. Because Joey's, and you gotta, I mean, I don't have kids obviously, but you gotta imagine this is your kid.
Yeah.
He's like 18 in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
And Tony Stewart's trying to kick his ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a awesome line. I don't know if you know this. This will be a quick story. So when Kevin was in the 29 car, Delana, his wife,
Yep.
she had some kind of role in the team.
Yeah. It was. She worked for
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick Incorporated, but for that.
But like she worked for RCR.
Oh.
Like so she was on the pit box, literally wearing a fire suit. Like yes.
What?
Yes. And like she would be there with a notebook. So I don't know what she was doing. All that to say, Joey and Kevin got into it when Joey was real young.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was one race where Kevin, and he said in his interview afterwards, he was like, he raced me like a clown all day. I just dumped him.
Yeah.
Cause you know
Yeah,
Kevin
I
is.
know,
He's like,
yeah.
I'm not. If
He's
he-
not putting up with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna dump you.
Yeah.
And so then they interview Kevin Joey afterwards, and he's like, yeah, that's just how he wants to race, but it's probably not his fault. His wife wears the fire suit in the family.
Oh, that's funny.
And
that's hilarious.
and Kevin and Delana, they ended up making like T-shirts out of it, and then they donated all to charity and all that. But it was
that's super cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. Yeah, that's like not the heyday, because it's good now.
Yeah.
It's like you wish you had social media back then.
Oh, dude, imagine
It
if
would've
like
been
that got a
everywhere.
hold of TikTok or something.
Oh, it would have been everywhere. But
Yeah.
Joey had the classic. She wears a fire suit in the family.
Oh, that's good.
So, but no, I don't mind him at all. Obviously, our boy Forrest loves him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Forrest
no,
loves him to death.
I mean, of all the drivers to come up as rich as he did, I mean, he didn't need it.
No.
Now, did it help? For sure.
Yeah.
But when you sign a JGR developmental deal at 14, I mean, daddy's not cutting the checks anymore.
No.
So I think he's a real deal, and he's very genuine. I've actually met him twice. Both times I've met, and it's just like fan interaction or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Both times, like, very genuine dude.
Let's go.
Very genuine
That's
dude.
cool. That's cool.
Got like 5 kids or something.
I hope he, and this is, I hope he races for however long he wants, but I hope he does make a transfer to the booth when he does the
He's good
Xfinity
at it,
races. I think he did a couple trucks too, but mostly the Xfinity races, dude. He does a top notch job. I mean, he gets in there and he digs on these guys, and I don't know if he like knows them personally, but he does his research,
Yeah.
and doesn't talk out of his ass like a lot of them do. Like
Yeah,
Clint.
and he's not scared to, like, if somebody makes a bad move or something.
Oh yeah,
he'll like,
yeah.
that's not good.
Yes, that's not good. Yeah. So,
I remember he was in the booth when Josh Williams parked his car and walked away from it. You remember that?
Yes.
And Joey was laughing his ass off. And he's like, NASCAR's not going to like that, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
But he's, like I said, I think he's just a very genuine dude. Obviously a good racer. You kind of alluded to it, but I think 16, 18, 20, 22, he's been in the Final Four.
Every time.
So we said at the very beginning, Final Four this year.
I mean, yeah.
He's got some work to do, but if anybody's going to turn
He's got to
on,
win, so he doesn't have work to do anymore.
Yeah, but
yeah.
if anybody's going to turn it on, it's going to be a Penske car.
Yes.
So why not Joey Logano?
Why not Joey?
Yeah.
Why not Joey? But
All right. Well, good
Yeah.
dedication. We got a Ward Burton, Joey Logano edition. Let's jump right into our overview. And I don't have a ton of notes on this, Spence, but I just kind of want to mostly pick your brain. So
Yeah.
I want to talk about our manufacturers we got. Kind of what they do, why they started. Obviously, when we first started in the sport, you went and bought a car,
Yep.
raced it. Obviously, as popularity went on, manufacturers figured out this is a way for us to build our brand, puff our chest out a little bit, kind of have something to lean on.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I've always thought was crazy. We get into the late 60s, and these manufacturers are figuring out, we can really, this whole win on Sunday, buy on Monday is kind of a big deal, but not necessarily win with this car. It's just our brand.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
So the rule back then was you had to race a car that was a legitimate car, right?
Okay.
And for it to be a legitimate car, at least 500 models had to be made and sold to the public.
Oh.
So you look at your Dodge Charger Daytona with the
Yep.
big wing on it. They made 500 of them.
No way. I didn't
That
know.
year, yeah. Then the Ford Torino Talladega, which
Yeah.
was another. It's not as popular as the Superbird.
Yeah.
That Plymouth and Dodge made, but it was another super speedway car. Ford Torino Talladega made exactly 500 of them. So they're just like,
way. I didn't know that.
late 60s. They're already.
I didn't know they literally just made that car so they could race it on
and
Sunday.
NASCAR, so they could follow the rules. Yeah.
Oh
So-
my God.
So I say that because we hear all the time like these cars aren't stock, and like
I mean, they're
back then-
not.
yeah, but even back in the late 60s, they're literally just building the minimum amount
Yes.
so they can go wax ass
On
Sundays.
Sunday. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's
you're-
super cool.
You're not loading your family up in a Dodge Charger Daytona. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It's not a sedan.
no.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
And so my point to that being, it's always been this way, right? We've always been skirting around. So it's kind of evolved from that to then the cars get more similar. We have more of a template of what a car should be. Mm-hmm. We get to the point where the cars look the same. Well, the manufacturers are still, they're really heavily involved in the engines.
Yes.
Now, whether they get any R&D off this for production cars, maybe even 20, 30 years ago. Today, no.
No,
Because
zero.
we talked about it the other day. Pushrod V8s are
Yeah.
all but dead.
That's the only thing I wanted to get into
Yeah,
in this
they're all
conversation.
but dead.
Yeah.
And so we'll get into that in a second. But the only other thing I wanted to say now, with manufacturers, it's still a kind of a puff in your chest. Chevy wins. And it's for the overall brand.
Yes.
I don't think
And I can respect that.
I can respect that, and we need that, right?
Yes.
We need that.
That's what makes it fun. Like, and I know you as a fan, like, I don't love everyone that drives a Chevy, but I'm not going to be sad when a Chevy driver loses. You know what? Or wins. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
going to be like, well, you probably didn't deserve that. Like when Daniel Suarez wins, I'm not thrilled to death,
Yeah.
but I'm like, he's a
Chevy.
Trackhouse guy and he's a Chevy guy, and it's like,
Yeah.
hey, I pull for Team Chevy. I mean, I got a sweatshirt that says Team Chevy. I think
Yeah.
it's cool. It's got the bow tie on it.
I think that's a very Southern mentality.
Dude, it's
is brand
so
loyalty. 'Cause, I mean,
yes.
You're either a Chevy guy, a
Yeah.
Ford guy.
You're
Dodge-
either a
especially-
Power Stroke or a Cummins or a Duramax
Duramax,
guy.
exactly.
Yeah, we're so brand oriented here in the South.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
It's part of our lives, right?
It is.
and that's just something you don't. Not saying it doesn't happen in other regions, but I mean it's big down here.
Yes.
It's like, what kind of truck do you drive? And that's probably the only truck you've drove your whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've only drove a bow tie.
Yeah, like
literally.
I've drove other stuff for work, but like if I buy something
Yeah.
or if I own something, it's General Motors.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the way I was raised. That's the way my dad was raised.
Yep.
I mean, that's how it's always going to be. So there's a lot to that. But now, we look at what manufacturers do. There's not necessarily anything going back, in my opinion, to what's on the street, because car culture is kind of dead.
Yeah.
Which I hate to say. I mean, people
It
aren't.
is.
I feel like both of us are car guys.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of NASCAR fans, and I put this on Reddit one time, on the NASCAR thread. I just had a question. I was like, "Hey, just want to get like a quick poll. Like, how many of the people in this thread? There's 1 million people in the NASCAR subreddit.
Yeah.
I said, how many of y'all would consider yourself car guys or women, whatever? And how many of you just like the sport? And I'm just curious, right? But I'm expecting 80% car people, 20% I just like the stories or whatever.
Yes.
Exact opposite.
Wow.
I mean, people are like, I couldn't tell you how an engine works,
Yeah.
which is fine. Like that's not a
No, I'll still cheer with you.
yeah.
You know?
That's like not a prerequisite to be a NASCAR fan. But I mean, that is where my fandom starts.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I am a car guy through and through. But now I don't feel like that's necessarily why manufacturers are in it. It's more of to build their brand of Chevy or Ford or Toyota. Now we look at what manufacturers do. It's a lot of key support, right?
Yes.
So now we have our key teams. So Chevy, you've got Hendrick, Trackhouse, RCR.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not one of them, Chevy probably doesn't really care about you.
No.
Ford, what do we got? Penske.
It was
SHR.
Stuart Haas, yeah.
Probably not now.
Yeah.
But front row.
Front row now.
And I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but Toyota.
Brad Roush.
Yeah, Roush. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're
so
good.
they're a key partner. Toyota claims that all of their teams are key partners.
There's only 2 of them,
but there's 3.
3 of them.
Yeah,
sorry.
but I don't think Legacy's.
No,
I don't think Legacy's getting Joe Gibbs treatment.
No, hey, they better not
They
be.
better not be.
If Joe Gibbs found out about that, he'd be mad.
He'd be pissed.
Yeah.
But but bringing up Legacy, Jimmy wanted obviously to be a Chevy team,
Of course.
but Chevy said we're not going to give you support. So that's kind of where the manufacturers play. It gets really interesting when we go to super speedway races and these manufacturers sit these teams down. We're having a Ford meeting, right?
Yeah.
The goal of today is to get a blue oval in there.
That is the wildest thing about the whole manufacturer thing of how they really don't care about certain teams, but when it comes to these premier super speedways, that's when they care.
Yeah.
It's weird. To me, that's weird.
It's weird. And you listen to you'll listen to Corey LaJoy talking to his podcast. Obviously, they're a Chevy team, but they're pretty much told, you help
Kyle Larson.
you help a Hendrick car, you help RCR, basically eat shit today.
Yeah.
And help a real Chevy win.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just wild what they do. But kind of just want to get your take on a few things. Do you like the role they play now? Or, do you see... I guess, what do you see their purpose to be, or what do you want their purpose to be?
I love, again, we kind of hit on the brand recognition. I'm afraid that if the manufacturer stepped away, we would go to a NASCAR sanction, even more sanctions, of their engine. Yeah. And that's the last thing I want to see because that's what
they do in the trucks.
Exactly. That's what they have crate motors, right? Is what they call them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, to me, I'm not about that. Let these manufacturers try to build a pushrod V8 that goes fast and is within parameters. To me, that makes it more fun. You'll never race on Sunday, buy on Monday. That's completely gone. Yeah. But I love when I go to the track and I see the not just the Hendrick stuff, but I know Trackhouse was really good at it for a while, and I know it's hard being Hendrick because you have more drivers and stuff, and you have the most popular driver who has their own trailer. But at Trackhouse, you could actually buy Chevy gear, you know, and to me that's cool, especially when you're a fan of that brand. It's like you said, it's a great way to publicize and brand recognition. Now, do I think that they actually do anything else besides, does Ford actually have a hand in building do they do what they say they do? Yes and no. You know what I mean? I just feel these guys are so good at what they do. How can you just take a Ford or a Toyota mechanic and say, hey, this is what you can do with our Toyota engine that crew, not necessarily the crew chief, but those engineers and stuff that they have on those cars don't already know. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I hope it doesn't go away, but to answer your question, I don't think they serve that much of a big purpose in the grand scheme of things, except
I think they're it's crazy because I agree with you, but the manufacturers drive what the sport does a lot.
Yeah.
Almost as much as TV.
Yes.
But, I think the one that does it the best, as much as it pains me to say, but Toyota came in.
Yeah.
And they developed their engine.
Yeah.
You've got
TRD. It's still the best thing. It's on every single truck that Toyota has. You're buying, it says Toyota Racing Development. Yeah. That is the coolest thing ever. If Chevy had something that was the Chevy Racing Development thing, I would buy it.
Yeah. And even deeper than that, Toyota is developing that engine.
Yes.
Where Hendrick's is building their own engines, Childress is building their own engines. Yeah. Now Roush and Yates finally combined. Mm-hmm. But until, I think that's one really an issue that Chevy has is they're still kind of separated.
Yes, they are.
But Toyota is like, if you're Toyota, you're Toyota.
Yep.
You know, we treat everybody, even though it's separate teams, 2311, JGR, Legacy, like they're still, you're way more under your manufacturer umbrella than any other manufacturer.
I feel like they're one of the teams that, hey, if you call the Toyota executive, they're answering the phone, even if it is John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah.
They're going to answer it and see, hey, can we help you? Can we not? Here's what we can do. Here's what we can't do. I think you're exactly right.
The other thing they do is they have the best driver development program.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everybody shits on them. They're like, well, all these people that start in the Toyota driver development, like Toyota doesn't end up getting them. So they just waste all this money. I'm like, number one, that's not your money.
Yeah.
Number two, Toyota legitimately cares about motorsports that much that they're going to develop 10 kids and they're going to find the right one out of those 10, right?
For them,
you know what I mean? And the other 9, they can go anywhere else.
Yep.
And, you know, Kyle Larson was a Toyota development guy.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Jones came back.
Yeah. But he wasn't. He wasn't for the longest time.
No, for the longest time. Joey was a Toyota development guy. Yep. I mean, I don't think Toyota, and I've heard their execs say this, and I legitimately believe it. They're like, we are bettering motorsports.
Yes, they are.
We'll get the best ones, or who we think is the best ones. Maybe somebody slips away, but as long as a high tide raises all ships, right? If we can bring a Kyle Larson through and he gets to NASCAR and NASCAR grows, well, that's just good for Toyota.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Why can't we bring a Seabell?
Yeah,
There's a Seabell right after him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're still going to find their people.
Yep.
And when they came in, they did not have that engine architecture.
Mm-hmm.
And NASCAR said, well, you can't come in here unless you build that. The complete opposite than what we've got now.
Yep.
They said, here's what it takes to be in NASCAR. 5.8 pushrod V8, making these specs. Done. We'll go to the lab and
we'll go to work.
Now, and we've talked about this on a previous episode, NASCAR's came out and say that any new manufacturer that's interested in the sport is not interested in a pushrod V8.
Yep.
So instead of NASCAR putting their foot down and saying, we're Billy Badass, this is what we want, match us, we're probably going to see overhead cam hybrid technology.
Yes.
Whatever. Give me 1,000 horsepower, and I really don't care what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't care either.
That's another topic. But one other thing I want to ask you: do you think we'll see new manufacturers anytime soon? It's like the unicorn we talk about all the time. That's my first question for you. Number 2, if we did, who do you want to see?
I don't think we see one probably until the next 8 years. I don't want to say quite 10. But I do think things are leaning towards the hybrid type of even if that's a turbo V6 or whatever it is. Yeah. It's going to be something like that. But I want to see Dodge come back personally. Yeah. I do. I think they make a great engine. I think their brand is awesome. I think it could get a lot of and we know these guys. There's diehard Dodge guys everywhere.
Dude, they make 10,000 horsepower drag cars.
Yes.
It's weird that they're not.
I know in the sport. So I hope they come back personally. And another one I wrote down that I hope could see, because they just make incredible small engines, and that's Honda. I think Honda could build an incredible hybrid type engine that would be so good. Like to me, if we do go to a hybrid engine, and another team or another manufacturer comes in, the two that are going to lead are Toyota and Honda. Mm-hmm. Like they're going to be so much better than Ford and Chevrolet by far. Yeah. And I think Dodge would probably be the third, honestly, if you were to rank those with some type of hybrid engine. I just do think that Toyota and Honda would be head over heels better than their competition.
It's almost like they're a step ahead already.
I don't think they are, because Honda's in so many other racing series.
Yeah, they're huge in road racing.
Yes.
Supercross. I mean, really everything but
NASCAR. Yeah. And so that is what I want to see.
They're one of the two manufacturers in IndyCar.
Yeah.
It's Chevy and Honda. So
crazy. But they're not in NASCAR, but they're in IndyCar. So, But yeah, I definitely do think in the next 6 to 8 years we see a shift from the pushrod V8s because they're just not. Sadly, it's going to be sad to see that just that muscle. And the thing that gets to me now about it though is like we're not using the pushrod V8 to its full potential. You know,
we choked
it down so much that it's like, why not just go to a turbo V6 or whatever, some type of hybrid car that you want to make anyway. So, you know, if we're not pushing a 800, 900 horsepower with this pushrod V8 that we could be, just change the engine anyway. Yeah, you know,
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
That's my only beef with it. Is like we're just babysitting these engines so much.
And you can still have a V8 that's not pushrod. I mean, you can have overhead cam.
Yeah.
And you know, and you look at a F1 car. I can't remember what their displacement is, but I think they're 4, maybe 5 liter engines.
5 liters, okay.
Now, granted, they don't weigh nothing.
Yeah.
But they're turning like 13,000 RPM.
Yes.
And you know, these engine builders in NASCAR, they can, and you know, we've talked about it before. These cars used to turn 9-10 grand.
Yep.
It's all components.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, if you give them that box to work in, they can do it.
Yep.
I don't know. I think if we see hybrid technology, I hope it's like the IMSA, where you know it pump starts the engine, because that sounds so cool.
Oh my gosh! If you guys haven't heard this, he showed it to me. These IMSA cars. Look up IMSA cars and just hear them take off, and you'll be like, "Yeah, I could rally behind that."
It's pretty cool.
They sound amazing. To me, it's not a muscle car, but it's as close as you can get without being.
And those are little V8s too.
Yeah.
In the Cadillac prototypes, but the only thing, if we go to hybrid, and I think that's what just to get back on track, that's what the manufacturers allegedly want.
Yeah.
Is more hybrid technology. They introduced that. I say introduced. They had that electric prototype at Chicago.
Yeah.
That thing's got 1,300 horsepower.
Yeah.
Which I thought the fan perception would be like, okay, not ideal that it's electric, but it's 1,300 horsepower.
Yeah.
I don't think and people have freaked out about this, thinking it's going to replace the Cup car. It's not.
No.
But if they had like a separate series and it was 1,300 horsepower electric cars, I'd probably watch a few races, because I'm curious.
Yes.
I'm very curious. Now, I wouldn't go to one because you can't hear it, you can't smell it. Like that sucks. But
it does.
Very interested in what a 1,300 horsepower. I mean, you could probably burn the tires off that.
Yes.
Which is ideal.
Yeah, that's what you want. 1,300 horsepower is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Torque. But so I think that's just to kind of wrap this up. You know, the manufacturers are important. They have a lot of sway in what we do.
Yes.
For the longest time, we were told this lower horsepower was a manufacturer want.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of been debunked because Toyota, Ford, and Chevy have all came out and said, if we had to make higher horsepower engines, we would.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe they don't have the control we think, but at the end of the day, we can't have this sport without the manufacturers. I think the loyalty, the branding, and the kind of the rivalry is part of it.
Yeah.
Ford versus Chevy, I mean, that's huge.
It's been the biggest thing ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Toyota came on in 2007, and there's still people that are like, that foreign company doesn't deserve to be in this.
Yes, dude, it's
wild.
so wild. It's so wild.
Because they build, you know, there's a lot of GM cars that are not built in America.
No, I mean, the cars built now.
And there's a lot of Toyotas that are.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of Fords built in Mexico, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a weird dynamic, but I think it makes it interesting.
It definitely does.
Anything else before we close it out?
No, that was great, man.
Okay. Let's get right into Chicago. Street course got plagued by rain again. I think that's super unfair to this race. But what was your rating?
Dude, I gave it an 8.3. Okay. I thought it was really solid. I was very, very skeptical of even the very first one we saw. Just the idea of a street course, not knowing how it'll go, but. Dude, this race has put on a show both years in the rain. And
against all odds.
Against all odds.
Because I'd love to see I don't know if you watched the Xfinity race.
Yes. Dude, it was so good.
It was so good. Now, SVG could have waxed even more ass than he did.
Yeah.
I guess my point just being that track in dry conditions, they haul ass.
Yes, they move.
They were hauling ass in the rain.
Yeah.
But I mean the way they laid that track out is very surprising that it races that good. Because you're kind of just you have what you got, right?
Yeah.
But you can tell they put a lot of effort and time into how they laid that out and what they did, because they absolutely, it's just full throttle, hard brake,
hard brake. Yes,
and
I love the 90-degree turns. We don't see that. We normally see these big carousels or S's, and those are cool. But dude, there's something about going too wide into a 90-degree turn and you're having to go 40. You know, to make the corner.
Yeah, I think it gives them room to make mistakes.
Yes,
and we saw, especially in the rain.
Yes,
obviously, but yeah, I was thinking 8.2. Is that what you said? 8.2.
I said 8.3.
8.3. Okay,
yeah.
I was thinking 8.2.
Yeah.
I think we've got one more year of this race.
Yep.
By the contract, but I think it's a really good race. I think it's different. You know, obviously, I was very skeptical of it because I was like, this is not on brand.
No. With
NASCAR, but as we talked about in our overview last week, if you think about it, it's something we need.
Yes.
You know, and there's plenty of Southeast ovals, short tracks. Now, granted, we need to work on short tracks because this car sucks on them, but
it's a package.
It's one straight course a year.
Yeah.
It's putting on a great racing.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
And it looks like I was texting Colby, or he texted me before the race. He's like, dude, this looks like one of the most fun races to go to.
It really does.
So I'm considering going next year.
Somebody said that Chicago is a destination city, and that would be Nick. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I ever want to go to Chicago. And then I watched that race, and I was like, dude, it's like kind of cool.
Yeah,
like,
I will say, like, you hear the horror stories about Chicago.
Yes.
I'm the same way. Like, I don't want to.
I've never thought about going to Chicago ever.
So from what I understand, because I've got family that lives there too, there's definitely bad shit that happens in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
But that bad shit, like any other city, it's consolidated to areas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The area where the track is, not necessarily one of those.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's in that beautiful park.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just, like you said, perfectly laid out.
Yeah.
And it's got to be a logistical nightmare.
I'm sure, yeah. But I want to go, and I mean, the only thing that's like scared me less is we went to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't be all, ooh, I can't go to Chicago if I went to New Orleans, which is literally the murder capital of the United States.
Yeah, I know.
And we were on Burton.
Yeah, so, just having a time.
If we can do that,
we can go to Chicago.
We can go to a street race in broad daylight.
Yes, yeah.
But
hopefully no rain.
Hopefully no rain.
Jeez.
But tires, they finally opened it up a little bit and let you pick.
Dude, I don't know if they've been listening to the pod on Twitter. Dude, it was perfect, man. Give the teams an opportunity to choose which tire they want and look at it.
Yeah.
The racing was spectacular when people were on different tires. Clearly, the slick tire was the way to go at the end. I mean, Tyler Reddick would have probably got to Bowman if he didn't touch the wall. Yeah. I don't know if he would have passed him. It's a whole different story. But
there was that discrepancy, right? I mean, I think it was like 2 seconds.
It was 2 seconds a lap, dude. He was when Tyler Reddick made that last pass, and I don't even. It was Ty, maybe he got Ty.
Ty was on slicks too.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. But there was something. There was like it was Alex Bowman, Joey Hand, and maybe Brad. There was like 4 or 5 guys that stayed out on wets, of course. And then, of course, Bowman took the lead from Joey Hand. And then those slick... I know Christopher Bell was leading when they restarted. He restarted like 9th and was kind of stuck in traffic for a hot minute.
Until he stuck.
Until he got stuck. And that's when Ty and Tyler Reddick kind of made their moves towards the front. And, dude, they started picking off people like it was nothing, man. And just seeing that race would have been complete. And I think, I know this kind of leads into what you wrote down about the countdown and stuff, but it would have been, I don't think anybody would have made the move to stay on wet tires if the countdown was not real. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I texted you that. I said, you were like, why is everyone staying on wets? And I was like, dude, because they know that yes, you had to be the first one to put on slicks, But at the same time, if you're a Bowman, if you're a Joey Hand, stay on those wets as long as you can. Get the track position.
And it almost played out perfect. Like you said, if Reddick wouldn't hit the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, both those strategies, you were picking a winning strategy either way.
Either way, yeah.
But what I would have liked to seen, obviously Reddick hit the wall.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why. Like,
I don't. He talked about it. Dude, I've never seen Tyler Reddick more mad at himself than in that moment when they interviewed him. Yes, yeah. But dude, he was hot on himself for like he didn't even know why he hit the wall. He was like I didn't have to do that.
So there's this guy, he posts in-car camera videos on Twitter. I don't know if you ever watched them. I watched the last 8 minutes of that race through Tyler Reddick's car.
Oh my god!
With his radio, and dude, I'm telling you, his crew chief and all of his spotters kept saying, "Take it easy, take it easy. We'll get there. Take it easy."
Yeah.
To the point to where I'm not even driving the car right. To the point to where I'm like, "Shut up." Like I get it, and I mean, I'm telling you, every corner they're like, "Don't push it, don't push it. You'll get there. Don't push it, you'll get there." Don't. And I mean, they are in his ear ad nauseum. Wow. And then he hits the wall.
Yeah, he pushed it.
But I would have liked to see, so obviously he was catching them because the track was dry where they were running.
Yes.
I think he would have had to get into wet territory
to pass him. Yeah, possibly.
But then you had Bowman, his tires were screaming.
Yeah.
But he would have had to stay in the dry.
Yeah.
So it would have been interesting.
It would have been.
It was still very organic.
It was so organic. And I think it would have came down to either if Tyler Reddick made the pass, Bowman would have had to dump him, or if vice versa.
Yeah. I think Reddick would have had to rough him up.
Yeah. For sure. They were going to have to rough each other up to get by, because, I mean, that is the only sad thing about that track is it's one lane racing. Like unless
you're SVG.
Dude, don't even get me started on how you can say whatever you want, and I hope JD is listening to this, but he would have won, man. He would have won. He would have won. For someone, I don't know if he could do it again. He was waxing everybody. Yeah. And he's
so good.
Dude, he's so good. It's like it's nothing to him when he gets in a road course. It's so crazy he can be that good at something and then not know how to make 4 left turns.
No.
It's so wild.
I think he will. I'm really excited for him to get to all these Xfinity tracks for the second time.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch Xfinity every week, but you'll see him, like, he'll be in the back, stage 1 and 2, and then stage 3, you look down, he's like 14th, 15th, which is kind of insane. If you think about it,
it really is
absolutely insane.
For a dude that's never ran in this car and on those types of tracks at all, just to pass guys that are legends.
The only ovals he's ran, because sprint car racing, we've talked about this before, winged sprint car racing is only a thing in America and Australia.
Yep.
And I still don't understand that.
Yeah, that makes zero sense.
But he's ran winged 410s in Australia. Mm-hmm. I don't know why he's not running winged 410s here. With Kyle Larson owning that series,
I think he will eventually run it. I think he's just, everything's so new. Like, let him get, he wants to do so well that he's like, I just want to focus on this. You know what I mean?
But can you imagine that draw?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if he was going to race in a 410 sprint, maybe I'm talking out of my ass a little bit because this opportunity has been presented, but I'm saying, like, if it's within 4 hours of here,
you're probably going.
I think, would you not?
Yeah, I would.
I mean, just to say you did.
Yeah, I know.
Because you get to meet him.
Yeah, you would get to meet him. Yeah, you would get to take a picture with him. He'd be right there. Yeah.
But I didn't even, so back on him, when Briscoe wrecked, they called that caution. We're like, what the hell? Yeah. Well, it was because Shane was.
Because I was texting. I was like, how is that a caution when literally right before that, someone is not even moving in the, I don't even remember, like turn 4.
Dude, I
don't know either.
I can't tell.
But in one of the 90-degree turns, someone had just hit the tire barrier. I think it was Josh, maybe. Josh hit the tire barrier. He was pulling a Noah.
Josh tried to hit every tire barrier.
Poor Josh, man. But and I was texting you. I was like, why are they stopping this race? And it was because SVG had literally stopped on the track, and it was the saddest thing ever, honestly.
Well, I didn't even realize, like, even on the replay, like Chase hits the tire barrier, and he goes right behind SVG. I'm like, he didn't hit him.
Yeah.
And then they showed his in car, and you see his head move. And
Yeah.
like dude, it couldn't have been that much of the car, but it was enough.
It was enough. And it was already wet. Like it was a perfect
storm.
Yeah, for him to.
Not for our bets, but.
Oh, no, not at all.
Last thing on this recap, I wanted to ask you: you think Bowman stole one, or did he?
No, he earned it. He earned it. You have to take that risk.
Yeah. He still had to pass Joey Hand. Joey Hand is no slouch. So.
No, and you know what I loved about the because I don't know Joey Hand. I've seen him race a handful of races. I've heard his name.
I only know him from Racing Cup, and they talk about his credentials.
Exactly.
So.
But NBC did an amazing job of telling us how he wasn't a slouch. You know what I mean? And because I'm above an average fan. I would say we both are above average fans. And as an average fan, you would not know who in the world that is. Even if you watch just every other week, you'd be like, who is Joey Hand? Yeah. And they did a great job of telling you, hey, this guy is legit and races well. And dude, Bowman still had to pass him.
Yeah, and then he still had to not. The other thing about Bowman, we're sitting there watching him lead after he passed Joey, and it's like 10 cars hit the tire barriers. Yeah, and it's like Bowman didn't.
No, he was driving away. Yeah. He drove away from Joey Hand, and we hadn't seen that really all day. And granted, they didn't get the chance to because the rain and stuff. But yeah, I mean, he drove away from the leader at the time.
And in his post-race press conference, they asked him, they're like, were you worried about Tyler? He's like, I was worried about him, but he's like, I put some laps down.
Yeah. No, he definitely was.
And if anything, that might have made Tyler, Tyler can see, and he's a good enough race car driver he can tell if he's getting gapped or not.
Yes.
Or if he's going to have enough time. And I mean, Bowman was laying some laps down. Last thing, and we'll move on to standouts. What did you think about his post-race interview?
Oh, it was unreal. It was awesome, man.
Isn't that awesome?
Dude, that is the Hendrick driver that we want to see.
It is.
That's raw personality. There has not been a Hendrick driver that's been like, I'm getting naked on the floor tonight and drink as much bourbon as they'll possibly give me. Yeah. And, dude, that's what he did. I
wish he would win more so we could hear that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I think even if he did win more, that personality wouldn't change.
No. I think he's another one that's very genuine.
Yes, he is. So I hope to meet him one day. I think that would be super cool to talk to him, shake his hand, because he's just a dude that drives a car and does it so well. Yeah. So
I would love to meet him too. We'll move on to standouts. So God bless.
Oh, dude.
Carson versus Corey. Dude,
my gosh.
Corey hit everything but the Illinois lottery.
But anything but Josh Berry. Him and Josh Berry were cruising to see how many tires they could take out on the tire barrier. That's how it felt.
I've got, I think this is legitimate. Carson 14, Corey 6. Mm-hmm. 6.
Yeah. He could win.
What is there, 16 races left?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
16 races left. Mm-hmm. So even if he won everything, he'd have 22. I think Carson wins the year.
Oh, I mean,
and we just looked at it. Carson's 25th in points. Yeah. If it wasn't for that penalty,
he'd be 22nd.
He'd be 22nd. Corey is 31st in points.
That's unreal.
You know what you do for a guy that's 31st in points? You give him the best crew chief
that you possibly can.
Yep. Is that not ridiculous?
Yeah.
How much money did Spire give Rodney Childers?
An ungodly amount.
I think, and not to cut you off, I just want to get this off my chest, and I'll let you get your opinion. I think Rodney, it's going to be a little controversial. I think Rodney is not that great of a next-gen crew chief.
That's fair. I mean, he hasn't shown it.
He hasn't shown it, and he hasn't had the tools.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Rodney has not had the tools.
He's been with SHR, and the only tool he had was Kevin.
Yeah, he's working with sticks and rocks.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's bad.
So I think, and this is just me, if you're Rodney, you're 40 years old. You're looking for a non-crew chief position eventually, right? Yep. Maybe you don't want the pressure of going to an RCR. and then because if you become Kyle Busch's crew chief, Kyle Busch continues to suck. Right, wrong, or indifferent, it is going to be Rodney Childers' fault.
Oh, 100%.
You know what?
Yeah.
And like, I'll probably agree because I'm like, it's Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
You go be Corey LaJoie's crew chief, see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets better, maybe he doesn't. Either way, you are like most likely on deck to be VP of whatever the hell you want at Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Right? And we know that.
You give him 3 good years.
Yeah.
And again, exactly what you said. He has the ceiling is as far as you can jump, reach.
Yeah.
It's
not Penske.
They're at the floor.
Yeah.
He can't do any worse. And you know what? And if he does do worse, we're just going to blame Corey.
We're going to blame Corey.
Because
right?
because that's how it's always been.
Yeah.
That's how it's always been. So I think it was the smartest move for him.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
And
it was the smartest move for him.
he got paid.
Oh, God.
You know he got paid.
And you, like you said, Spire is showing that they want to be competitive in this series. So if there's anything, they're going to have tools. So who knows? Maybe I don't know. I don't know how often this happens. I know crew chief changes kind of happen often with terrible drivers, but I mean,
I've never seen one like this, dude. I'm sure it's happened before, but I mean, this would be like. Even like if you gave hard to come up with another example, it's not Corey LaJoie, but like maybe like
Harrison Burton type of.
You think Chad Knaus, right? Like that's the crew chief comparison. But I don't know what the driver comparison would be because I mean I've just never seen this level of a crew chief go to this level of a driver, and it makes you wonder, like, everybody said this was a make or break year for Corey, right? Mm-hmm. Because
he's breaking.
He's breaking.
He's breaking
right?
bad.
And you've got a rookie outperforming you. Okay, so next year everyone's going to say it's make or break.
Yeah.
Here's what I guarantee will happen. It'll be the same, and Spire will say, "Well, they haven't really. You got to give them a year to learn each other.
They haven't meshed.
Right? Now, granted, Carson Osvar
didn't need to mesh.
Didn't need to mesh. Right?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Didn't need to mesh at all, but let's set that aside. I think he'll be there 2025.
Yep.
And they'll give him 2026.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see a new driver in the 7 until
26. Yeah. Till 2027. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fair.
Yeah, because they'll give him 25.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to learn them. 26, same bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Now, I love Rodney Childers personally.
I do. Yeah, I do too.
So, are you going to be mad if somehow Corey turns it around?
If Corey turns it around, then I was wrong the whole time.
I don't
see.
That's the thing. But we've seen, and when I say turn it around, I'm not even like talking about a win. You know what I mean? Like
he can't. He literally cannot do worse than he did this year.
No. But exactly. So your ceiling's unlimited. But like, to me, you bring in Rodney Childers, you're 31st in points. Say you move to 25th, maybe you get, which is I haven't looked at it, but maybe that's impossible right now, and it's definitely improbable. But mathematically, it would probably still be possible.
Yeah.
But to me, you have to give that to Rodney. You know what I mean?
But now, granted, you're talking like in theory, right?
In theory, completely in theory. Corey finishes 25th in points this year. Okay, well, we saw where he was running all year. Okay, so we take this with a grain of salt. We move into next year. He finishes 22nd. Like, to me, this is showing how good Rodney Childers is, not how good Corey LaJoie is. You know?
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. That's
because that
that's
would
fair.
be the only thing that's changed.
Yeah. But the other thing about Corey LaJoie is you can have the best crew chief on the box, but that car needs to stay out of the wall.
Yeah. No.
So I think that's where it has to fall on Corey. If he can be clean, that's where I'll give it to him. If Rodney comes in, they do better because he's kept it clean.
Yeah.
Then okay.
But I think Rodney will tell him that, dude, your main objective is to keep it clean, and dude, the cars have speed. We've seen it from every other Spire car except from him.
Yeah, and I think
So
you look at how fast and how well Carson is running. We say that objectively, right? 'Cause
Yes.
he's still mid-20s in points. Should be about 22nd, but he had that penalty.
Yeah.
But someone with Corey's experience,
Yeah.
which is a lot.
yes,
It's really a lot.
it is.
If you pair him and Rodney up next year, in theory, to me, that should be a 18th, 19th place car.
They're looking at the Daytona. I don't know where the playoff cutoff will be, but they're looking at Daytona and going, "Hey, if we finished 8th here or 5th, we could qualify for the playoffs."
Yeah,
you know.
They should almost be a fringe playoff
Yes,
team.
yes, they should be where Bubba is right now.
They should be. In theory, you would think their goal would be to be like finish ahead of a Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Finish ahead of a Michael McDowell.
yeah,
Finish ahead.
It should be on
yes.
that. It should be on that level.
Yes.
It should not be 30. And
No.
that's where Rodney and Corey, it's already going to be artificial because Corey's probably going to finish this year 31st, maybe 30th in points.
Yeah.
It's not going to get worse than that.
No.
It's not going to get worse than that because Corey can just stop driving like an idiot
Yeah.
and finish better than that. There's enough attrition in these races.
Yes.
There's no reason that Spire car should be anywhere near there.
Yeah. I mean,
And Zane's the same way.
there's a reason. There's a reason Zane finished second
Yeah.
at Nashville.
Right.
You have to, dude. Literally,
the race.
you have to finish the race. I mean, no, I didn't want to see it, but imagine if Corey didn't crash right there, dude. He
was in the
probably
best
could have won.
position.
He
He was
probably
in-
could have won.
He was the only one in the best position.
Yeah, he would have probably won.
Yeah.
He would have won, which is crazy to say.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. He has to keep it clean. He has to keep it clean, and we haven't seen that enough to know. So maybe Rodney gets to him. I hope he does. I hope he does.
It'll be interesting. I mean,
will.
I don't see it happening.
No.
Obviously, I don't want it to because I look
Yeah.
like an idiot
Yeah.
selfishly. But it's just such a mind blowing move. I think, and I'm not the only one to say this. I know you said it too. I think Rodney was the biggest. What I'm thinking, he was the hottest free agent,
Yeah. Yeah.
drivers included.
Mhm.
I think Rodney was the hottest free agent.
Yeah. He was. And Spire got him.
Spire got him.
Spire got him. They were the Lakers of this whole event and paid LeBron James ungodly amount of money to
Just to
come
have
and just to have him to come in and you know what LeBron did at LA? He won a championship. So
What's he done since?
nothing except got his
Signed his son.
baby.
I
Let's
saw
go.
a video of Bronny today on he's doing warm ups before their game or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess he's already playing for him.
He's in the G League. So like
he had
there's
a Lakers jersey on.
Yeah. So the Lakers have a G League team. So
It's still called the Lakers?
They're summer. Yes, he was
Okay.
signed to the Lakers. What he's fighting for is a roster spot. So
He airballed just shoot around.
nice.
Yeah, he
nice.
airballed on a
Dude,
shoot around.
You know who is killing it for the Lakers right now? Our boy Dalton Connect from Tennessee, baby.
Really?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think I did see a video of
Yeah,
him.
dude.
Yeah.
He put up. He only got to play like maybe a quarter and a half total. So like less than 20 minutes. So less than half the game. And oh my gosh, dude's a baller.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's no Bronny though.
No, he's no Bronny. Not everybody can be Bronny.
All right, just a couple more things on standouts. I wanted to touch on a few of these, then we'll go ahead and move on. What do you think about Bubba's fine?
Bubba's fine was, God, I've seen a lot of things. It did seem a tad bit harsh. It and when I say a tad bit, like maybe a lot harsh. 50 grand?
Yeah.
50 grand seems like a lot to bump. I mean, he bumped him hard.
He bumped him hard.
But
Then you have Alex Bowman saying it wasn't that hard. Now, I think Alex Bowman's being polite.
Alex is definitely being polite. And to me, NASCAR should have left it at that when Alex, literally the first thing out of the car, apologized to the 23 team.
Yeah.
Apologized for what he did and pretty much gave Bubba the right to be upset with him. Like, hey, I messed up. I turned you in that spot and kind of ruined your day, you know? And to me, you should leave it at that. Let Bubba bump him, you know, And granted, it's under caution. You've already done this with Hocevar.
But it's
Granted,
not. But it's not.
But it's
under
not.
caution.
You're right. It's it.
Yeah.
He didn't hit him when there was 4 to go.
The thing they said with Carson was there's safety workers on the track, and you impacted the rest of his day.
Yeah.
The day's over.
And it's
I
done.
I mean, we saw Truex do this at Richmond.
Yep.
He hit Denny and Larson.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to Bowman's win at Martinsville, and Denny, like Bowman can't even do a burnout because Denny's run into it, which I don't have a problem with.
No.
The only thing I didn't like about what Bubba did is the same thing I didn't like about Denny. Is like the dude won. It's like
get out of his way.
Way.
Go park it in his box or something.
Talk to him later.
Yeah.
I don't care if you punch him in the face later.
Yeah.
But like the dude won. That's the only problem I have with it. But did you see Chase? He doored Suarez after the race?
Yes. Yeah.
And no penalty.
Nothing.
And I really think NASCAR bowed down to the Facebook Warriors.
Wow.
I think they did because dude, people were calling for Bubba's head. That's what people do about Bubba.
Yes.
Which is ridiculous.
Right. It's wrong. It's not right, wrong, or indifferent. It's wrong.
It's wrong because people are like, he needs to watch his emotion. And it's like, I would agree with you. Like if it's when he right reared Larson, right?
Yes.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Uncalled for.
When you right rear anybody, and we've talked about that, you cannot right rear anybody. It's the most dangerous thing that you could possibly do in the entire sport.
Park his ass.
Yes.
But when you can produce multiple examples from not even 3 weeks ago of this happening, it's horseshit to find him. Which, granted, wasn't points.
Still.
But here's the other thing I hate about it. We fined Ricky Stenhouse Jr. What was that? $75,000
for Kyle Busch.
Which, how awesome was that?
It was the most incredible thing that could have ever happened at an all-star race ever.
Ever. And then you're telling me after a race, these people bumping into each other and that's good. I think that's good for the sport, right? Well, now we're penalizing that. So now these drivers just have to do nothing.
Yeah.
These drivers can't do anything.
And that's to go back to the Ricky Stenhouse thing, which was the big complaint I had about it, is that it was on every single NASCAR social media ever. They publicized the entire event.
But don't do it again.
Don't do it again.
Yeah.
And then you penalize Bubba for doing something that was all over NASCAR social media again. It's
that's where I think NASCAR social media is really shitty because they know good and well that anytime they post something about Bubba, the engagement is through the roof. Now that engagement is absolutely terrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I can understand you not liking Bubba, like we don't like Corey, right?
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Like the shit that 80% of the shit Bubba gets is just
racist shit.
It's just racist shit.
It's just racist shit.
It's just terrible.
It's
shit.
sad.
It's super sad.
Because dude has shown that he is good.
Not only good, but has a personality.
Yes, he's cool.
Which we beg for.
Yes.
Right? And it's, obviously we have a soft spot for Bubba because he's a Vol fan.
Yeah.
And that's legitimate too. That's as legitimate as a manufacturer.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I will always
VFL, baby.
Yeah.
That's a dude that you'll see, and you see it everywhere you go as a Vol fan. If there's a dude wearing a Tennessee shirt, you could be in. We saw it at the NASCAR race in Nashville, and we said, "Go Vols." You know what he said back? He said, "Go Vols."
Yes, exactly.
It's just one of those things. Why are we hating on this dude for no reason whatsoever? No reason. And NASCAR, like you said, bowed down to the Warriors and gave in, and it's the worst thing that you could possibly do for the sport. It is.
It is. Let him have at it.
Let him. If he like crashes Bowman to where he can't do a burnout anymore, maybe that's different. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But he didn't.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
He hit him a little bit, showed his frustration, and let him go. Granted, I'm with you. The dude won. Let him go.
It was a shitty look.
It was
a shitty look, but also if he wants to do a shitty thing, if he wants to make and that does not look good on him, right?
No.
But I still like, as much as I don't like that, I like the drama and the controversy more.
Yes.
And I like Bowman getting out and being like, yeah, I probably deserve that.
Yes.
That's just sports. I feel like. I mean, that's just dudes being dudes.
Yeah. They didn't do that to Denny when he just ran up on Kyle Larson in Nashville.
No.
I mean, absolutely gave him practically did everything but right hook him.
Yeah.
Right hook him. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, so
there's no consistency.
No.
And I just hate that. Like, I feel like you gave all those terrible people. Once again,
Yeah.
if you just don't like Bubba because that's not your guy,
Yeah.
I respect that.
That's
but, like,
fine.
you're validating all these people that are just like absolute terrible people.
Yeah.
That's what I don't
It's
like.
all the dudes on Facebook are the dudes that don't like any Toyota anyway,
Yes.
and they're racist.
Well, then
and they're racist.
and then they'll be-
there's no way else to put
There's
it.
no other way to put
Yeah.
it. And they're like, well, Bubba needs to control his emotions.
Yeah,
That's
whatever, dude.
That's dangerous.
If
And it's
Kyle
like,
Larson did it, they'd eat it up.
Yes, and
they
it's
would
like-
eat it up.
you're gonna say, oh, that's dangerous. He has winning it. It's like, well, you obviously didn't watch in the fucking 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you can't handle this,
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing some crazy stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
No,
Not
it's
to get on a
ridiculous.
tangent. That
Yeah.
that stuff just pisses me off.
No,
But
it does.
two more things on standouts. I want to, or no, just one more. We touched on Childers.
Mm-hmm.
I got the playoff bubble heating up. I think we'll talk more about that the closer we get.
Yeah.
Because it's getting a little interesting.
It is.
But Noah to FRM. Did you see that?
I saw that. Yeah.
Not
Good.
a huge surprise, but
Good on him. I'm happy for him. I think he's going to tear that car up. We've shown
I think it will too.
those cars have had some speed. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm so glad he got a cup ride. I do think he has talent. He's shown it. He's shown it in the Xfinity Series. So hopefully he can carry that over and use this as a step in the right direction, you
Yeah.
know, and
I think he
not a
will.
setback because there's definitely easy ways to look at front row compared to what Stuart Haas was, you know, when Kevin was there.
Yeah.
You know,
they're going to have the manufacturer support now.
yes.
So it's almost like they're going to take over what SHR was. Even if they're as bad as SHR now, at least recently, Noah's been the best SHR driver.
Yeah.
So I think it gives him potential. It'll be interesting to see. I was really hoping, and I didn't have nothing other than just talking on Twitter. I was hoping that Austin Dillon was going to announce he was retiring,
Yeah. Yeah.
that he's going to go to RCR. But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there.
You said 2027 we'll see the 7-car switch. I think 2026 we'll see the 3-car become available.
Austin Dillon I don't know if you saw this. It was a couple weeks ago. He came out and said there's more changes to come. Which I think he was saying that expecting they were getting Rodney.
Yes.
I think they were.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
They definitely put in a bid.
But we were looking at points earlier. So Corey LaJoy's 31st. Austin Dillon's below him.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, and I think even Austin Dillon, as much as I love to just run him through the dirt, I think even he realizes he should probably get out of that car. So something may be happening there. I don't know who they would bring in. I haven't thought a lot about it, but real quick, so do you think Ryan Preece not a Cup driver next year?
No. I think he I think you may have said it on X, but I think he goes to Haley Deegan's team.
Yeah.
Possibly. I think that's the best ride for him. He will tear up that series. I think he'll do well. I don't know if he'll win in that ride.
No.
But-
I think he could be
but-
like a Parker Kligerman.
Yeah.
type,
Yeah.
Where Parker's vastly overperforming.
Yes.
I mean, what
Exactly.
Parker does in that 48 car is kind of absurd.
Yeah, it really is. But he may catch someone that's coming out of a good ride who's going into Cup, something like that we haven't even thought about silly season wise. But no, I don't see a path for him to stay in a Cup ride. And it to me, I don't know. I've never. Don't hate Ryan Preece, don't love him. You know,
Yeah.
I'm kind of neutral on that. I don't really care either way, but I hope he provides for his family and does what he loves to do, you know, and that's race cars.
Here's
So-
my dream for Ryan Preece. He gets a top truck ride
Oh,
and turns into the new Matt Crafton.
let's go.
And just is like every week, just like, I hate these kids.
yes.
They don't have any respect. And he's just a menace.
Yeah.
And tears up the truck series. And if he's not winning, he's getting into it with 16-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be that would revitalize the truck series.
It would. It would. They need, and
They
we've
need that.
spoke on this before. They need
They need
more of
veterans.
that. They need veterans in there.
Like get you a
Yeah.
few veterans that these kids have to come through, almost
Yeah.
like a test,
A rite of passage.
a rite of passage.
Yes.
That's a great way to put
Yeah.
it. Like Yeah, I'm in the truck series. It's a bunch of kids, but also this asshole Ryan Preece.
Yeah.
That is like, well, I was a Cup talent, and just he's gonna bully you.
Exactly. You need those guys like a Ryan Newman, like a Ross Chastain that are crazy hard to pass. That are known for like, I don't care if I'm running 22nd, son.
Yeah. You ain't going to.
You are not passing me to get to 22nd, boy.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to work for it. So
that's my dream scenario.
Yeah. I'd be down for that.
All right, let's get into your bets. We have time for a break here.
Yeah, we got time for a break.
Appreciate it. Sorry.
You're good.
All right, we're back here. Now into the juicy stuff. We're going to drop the green bets. I know we hit on at least one.
We did.
How are
we did.
looking?
We looked, dude. Stage 1 of that race, we looked absolutely fantastic.
Stop right now.
Yeah, stop right now. Let the rain come. Let it pour. Because SVG was looking just like a menace. We talked about that. He was so good. So we didn't hit that one. But of course, we got the Alex Bowman top 10. I knew it. His road courses are underrated. I don't know why.
He's quiet on everything.
Dude, he's quiet. He's so quiet on there. But that was a huge win. That was at plus 330. So
at one point, Justin Haley and Bowman were in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened to Haley. Maybe
Haley went to Slicks. He went to Slicks, and dude, there were again the strategies were so crazy, and his car wasn't as strong as a Seabell or Tyler Reddick, so he just couldn't move through the field like the other guys could, and he probably didn't want to push it at the same time. You know,
you can understand.
Yeah, 100%.
So they need to finish.
Yeah, it just sucks either way. I think he finished 14th, 15th.
Crazy.
Yeah,
it's still crazy. He is everything Corey LaJoy claims to be.
Exactly. That's Justin Haley.
That's Justin
Haley. I got you a beer right here, buddy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Nice and cold. So we were down 13 units going into the weekend. Bowman got us down to 11.7. So
progress.
Yeah, it's progress. Chipping away. That's what we got to do. Dude, so Pocono, I know we haven't seen it yet, but I think you'll have the same agreement. I think the Toyotas are going to dominate. I think they're going to be super good, and so when I say that, first guy on the list, we've already talked about him, Bubba. Okay. Bubba top 10. All right. Bubba top 10 is plus 110. He has 2 top 10s here in the past 4 races. His worst finish, I think, is 16th, if I remember correctly. I didn't write it down. In the past 4, so he needs to be good. So I think it's going to give him fuel. He's shown that he can be good here, and their cars are going to have speed. So I'm excited about that one. So 1 unit on Bubba, plus 110, top 10. Then, so I didn't preface this. I know you watched Chicago. Out of nowhere, DraftKings has become the sports book of NASCAR.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not notice that?
No, I didn't.
They had like 15 commercials. Jeff Burton was talking about. They literally would pull up odds. You didn't notice that at all. No, so I have switched to DraftKings for NASCAR betting. I'm gonna follow them. If they have cooler odds and cooler picks and one I'll get to that FanDuel doesn't offer. So I have switched to DraftKings. I didn't compare the odds completely, but some of them are a little better money wise. But plus 110 for Bubba top 10, and then. I kind of went with a wild card here, and we're going to go half a unit on this guy, and it's Ty Gibbs to win.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ty Gibbs, dude, he's been so close. I think factors out of his control has kind of gotten his way because he was super good at Chicago, and he's a good road course racer anyway, but this is a track that you could really get behind and see him do very well. And I would not be surprised if he qualifies very well and races up there all day. And who knows what Ty Gibbs will do to get a win.
That's it.
Anything. Exactly.
Anything.
So he is plus 1,300 to win. Yeah.
Okay.
He's plus 1,300 to win, half a unit. That's what we're shooting for right there. I don't care if anything else hits, if that one hits. So I'm excited about that one. And then this, I'll go in. So I picked another winner, another unit, and you had to go with the favorite, who I think is probably going to dominate, Denny. Yeah.
Yep. That's
Denny
his
to win.
It's his playground.
Yeah, it is his playground. Denny to win, plus 400.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
he gets it. If he gets it done, I definitely think we see we're making money. Is kind of is
Yeah,
is
I
what I'm
think
saying.
we're lucky.
Yeah,
Honestly, coming into this, that his finishes have been so bad.
bad. Exactly.
Because if he was running like he should, or finishing where he should be,
those odds would be way lower.
way lower.
Way lower.
Way lower. I think
Exactly.
we caught him good there.
So this is the pick that I was alluding to earlier about DraftKings offers team betting. So you can pick Chevy, Ford, or Toyota, and you can pick the best driver, the guy that would finish the highest.
Highest finishing Chevy or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I went back to Denny Top Toyota.
Okay.
Yeah. Denny Top Toyota plus 200.
Wow.
Yeah. To me, again, I
half
hope
unit?
Ty wins. I think he's going to be strong, but I mean,
But
plus
if,
1,300.
but if Denny wins, then we're sitting real pretty.
Dude, we're sitting spectacular. So I went half a unit on that. So that's my full 3 right there. But I mean, the only other person in Toyota that I really think is going to give him a problem is Seabell. Honestly,
He's fast everywhere.
I know he's fast
so
everywhere.
Fast everywhere.
He's-
I mean, it's crazy.
it is.
It's
It is
crazy.
But
He's
but
another
again, this
quiet
is
guy.
Yeah. But this is Denny's playground.
Yeah.
So I would at plus 200. I was definitely willing to take that. The only other guy I could actually see winning is Larson. Sadly,
Yeah.
dude, they're just so good here. They've had their history together. This is kind of where their rivalry really kicked up.
You know, Bowman's won here.
Bowman has one here.
Yeah. Do you remember how?
Yes.
So Larson was about to win his fourth race in a row.
Yep.
Blew a tire.
Yep. I do. Yeah.
And in particular Bowman fashion,
Yep.
he ended up
That was
winning.
Mr. Back into him there
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
And
all
but
2021, all 4 of those wins.
yep.
But he had to be there.
You
so.
you still have to be there. Corey hadn't gotten one.
No. not even a top 10.
Not even a top 10. So
But, all right, so we got Bubba top 10 at plus 110. We're going to put a full unit on that. We're going to do Ty Gibbs to win plus 1,300 a half unit.
yep.
Denny to win plus 400 a full unit. And then Denny top Toyota plus 200 a half unit.
Yeah. So if Denny wins, he's of course the top Toyota. I mean, that's kind of the lock we're looking for.
I think that's a
you
nice
know?
save, too. Because
It is.
If
Because
Denny
even if
win-
he finishes second, and as long as Seabell doesn't beat him, if Larson, Bowman, Chase, anybody but Truex,
saves us.
it saves us.
Yeah,
It
we got a lot of safety nets here.
Yeah, yeah.
All Toyota driver bets.
Yes, I told you.
Okay.
I think Toyotas are going to be good this week, and I know everybody in our fantasy group is going to put Toyotas in if they're
Yep,
smart.
if they got them left.
If they got them left, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Getting brutal.
Yeah, it is getting brutal, dude. I had to save a Larson pick last week.
I did
That
too.
was so tough.
I put him in my garage.
I put SVG back in. I mean,
did
I
too,
was like,
because he had a stage win.
yeah, he had a
Yeah.
stage win. His points weren't bad, but it was like Larson. I'm gonna need him. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna need SVG.
Yeah.
So that was tough.
Larson did his. We didn't talk about it, but he did his typical Larson thing.
Yeah, he did, dude.
Just-
I guess he didn't have Tyler Reddick's crew chief in his ear to tell him to hold up. Yeah,
that is one thing I love about Larson is and people pick on people that say this, but I think he's the best driver in the world.
yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
But he is not. None of that goes to his head.
no.
Because he's like, I'm just whatever to win this race I'm in. If I hit the tire barrier, if I jump the cushion,
He does. He has never seen a big picture.
No, he's
He
like,
was- he's-
if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. Like, not.
And I don't want to lose.
Yeah,
That's
he
his
doesn't wanna
thing. He
lose.
does
It's
not
nuts.
want to lose.
It's nuts. I don't know how to characterize that, but
Yeah.
I mean that's his MO.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
I mean, he's gonna win, and if he doesn't win, he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's
It's-
DNFing. We've
yeah.
seen that.
A
He's
second and a DNF to him is like
the
same
same.
thing. It's the same
yes, which is you would never
Wow.
hear that from any other driver.
no,
yeah,
no.
maybe Denny. Maybe.
Yeah. At this point in his career.
Yes, exactly. But not early in his career. But I think exactly what you said. Kyle Larson's been that since day one.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since he got in that Chip Ganassi car, he was like checkers or wreckers,
he's
baby.
Wide open.
Yeah.
All the time. I remember his last year. It's the best dirt race I've ever been to. It was at Bulls Gap, and he was leading, running 110%. Jumped the cushion. Davenport got by him. He throws, I think it was 4 sliders in a row. Oh, dude, just stupid. Best race ever. 50 laps, green flag the whole time.
Yes.
He's leading. Then he gets ahead of him. He's leading by straightaway.
Uh-huh.
And he's just still ripping, rips the spoiler off the car. I mean, he's going 110%. He's leading by a straightaway.
Yeah.
Last lap, he comes up to lap. Kyle Busch was in the race. He comes up to lap Kyle Busch, hits Kyle Busch, flattens his tire, finishes the race on a flat tire.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, just let off the gas.
Yeah.
But he can't.
Yeah.
He can't. He's 110% all the time.
He wants to set the track record on lap 49. On lap 49 of a 50 lap race. He wants to set the track record.
Qualifying laps every lap.
Every lap. Yeah.
But wild.
You learn that in iRacing. You can't do that.
Well, he learned other things than iRacing.
Yeah, he did. He learned how to be a good driver.
Yeah, he learned what not to say, too.
Yeah, fair.
But, all right, well, those are good bets. I feel good about them like I do every week. So we're going to climb out of this hole.
That's right.
We kind of got into it, but we'll do a little Pocono predictions. The tricky triangle, as they call it. It's Denny's Playground. I really like that they went to one race a year. Mm-hmm. I feel like not only have the fans came out more, but it's like the excitement is there.
Yes.
We've had so many stories. We had the Ross Denny. We had the Larson Denny.
Yeah.
These restarts are insane because strategy and track position play such a big role. We see really, really good racing at the same time.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy to see the complexity of how you have to set up your car because how different each turn is.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of tracks that we go to that Darlington's one that comes to mind that 2 and 3 are different, or 1 and 2 are different than 2 and 3. But there's, Nashville's practically the same.
Yeah.
Daytona's the same. All these tracks are the same in 2 and 3 and 3 and 4, or 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. No, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, golly.
So each one of the turns in Pocono is modeled after another track.
Yes.
I know one of it's like the 3 original tracks that were ever made. Mm-hmm. One of them's Indy.
Yep.
And then the other 2 are like kind of obscure. I'll look that up real quick.
One's got to be, dude. Turn 3's got to be like Martinsville.
No. I'm telling you,
Really?
it's like early tracks, all in the Northeast, if I'm pretty sure, or up north.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because, of course, that's where Pocono is. But, dude, that's...
Track configuration, let's see here. So turn 1 is modeled after Trenton Speedway, which I'm going to assume is in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yep, that's in New Jersey. So turn 1 is modeled after Trenton. Turn 2 is the tunnel turn at Indy.
Yep.
Turn 3 is modeled after the Milwaukee Mile.
Yes. Okay. Where the trucks race.
So it's kind of like there's this golf course in Myrtle Beach.
Uh-huh.
Myrtle Beach is like a million golf courses.
Yes.
So there's one golf course in Myrtle Beach that all 18 holes are modeled after a hole off of
like
Prestigious.
TPC Sawgrass 17 or something.
You'll have one off St. Andrews. You'll have one off of Augusta.
Yeah.
Now, from what I've heard, it's not that similar.
Yeah, of course
but
not.
That's the same principle, right?
Yes.
You get like an all-star setup of what it is. So that's kind of what Pocono is.
It's put on a great race. I love this track. I think it's so fun. Shout out to JD and Jill who will be there.
They will, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to go to Philadelphia on Monday.
Ooh, did you almost pull the trigger?
I almost booked my flight on Sunday. And then went there, but I was like, it's too many moving pieces.
It is a lot.
It's a lot of moving pieces.
It is.
Big week ahead of me as well.
Yeah.
Colby will be here next week.
Yeah.
But
we're going to touch on that at the end.
Yeah,
but
I was this close.
Yeah.
I was this close.
Fair. But I think it's going to be great.
Do you think Pocono is actually 5 turns?
Oh, now we're getting... No.
So you look at a track.
I know.
That probably made a lot of noise. You look at a track it's like this.
Yeah.
So you got 1, 2,
Two,
3, 4.
four.
So Pocono, you got 1, 2, 3, 4.
3, 4.
So is it 6?
6.
What is it?
It's a tricky triangle,
It's
baby.
tricky.
Yeah,
It's
it's tricky. I mean, it literally. I mean, turn 1 is completely banked, which is wild
Yeah.
to even think about, and then turns 2 and 3 are practically flat. So,
Yeah.
and there's no massive straightaway between turns 2 and 3. So,
And then I can't remember what track. Even before we had the next gen, they used to shift.
Yeah.
At this track.
yeah,
So this is the only oval, quote unquote oval, we go to where I'm not mad about shifting.
yeah.
We used to do it anyway,
Mhm.
but I guess we'll call it 3 turns. Do you think Denny finally wakes back up?
Yeah, I
He
hope.
needs to. He needs to.
I
right?
hope. Yeah.
It's
If there's
nuts.
anywhere he's going to do it, it's going to be here. And again, I mean, waking back up would definitely be a win, but also at this point, waking back up would be a top 5 and then running good all day. Like
And it's not like he hasn't been running good.
No, I know, but he just hadn't put together a whole weekend.
No,
You know,
and then
like
Cindric just like booty blasted him.
yeah.
At Coda.
Yeah.
Or not Coda. Why did I say Coda? Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, he needs something because I legitimately think this is Denny's year.
It is.
It has to be.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Yep. If he's going to get one, it has to be this year. It
Yeah.
has to be. So, well, do we think tires play a key at all? They really have in the past.
They haven't. We might see what we've been seeing where it's like 2/10 of fall off over 30, 40 laps,
Yeah.
which is not a ton, but I mean, it depending on how the race turns out, fresh tires might make a difference.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I think we'll see is a late race restart.
Yeah.
It seems to be how it's going at Pocono.
Yep.
Which is fine because if Denny and Larson are up there, I mean, I think Larson, it's not his thing. He's not a retaliatory driver, but he seems to be committed to it.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to work out for him.
Mm-mm.
But Denny's talking like he still owes Kyle one at the same time.
Yep.
Kyle thinks it's over with.
Yep.
But I don't know. It could get interesting.
It can.
I hope it doesn't come down to a late race restart unless it's just been boring all day.
Yeah.
Selfishly,
Yeah.
But if we're seeing something like we saw at Nashville, where it's just very organic and
Yeah.
I want that to stay green.
Yes. 100%. That's exactly what you want.
So,
Yep.
any other predictions?
No, I don't have any.
I think
other
I'm like you. I
predictions.
think it's going to be Toyota.
It's gonna be Toyota's
it's
day.
It's going to be a Toyota Larson show. I think.
Yeah. I personally don't see any other Chevy driver being that good.
Where's William Byron gone?
Dude, I was literally about to ask you the same thing.
Yeah.
Personally, I can see him pulling a Joey and just being you know how Joey is. If he wins early in the year, he doesn't care. He's
Yeah.
just cruising.
He's like, let's work on the Martinsville car.
Exactly. Let's work on the Martinsville car. Let's work on the Darlington car. Let's work on the Phoenix car because
Yeah.
we're getting there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You still can't tell me that if you told me at this point that William Byron made a Final Four, I'd be a bit surprised. You know what I mean? If I didn't know the first couple months of the season, because he has been literally non-existent. Like
So if he had to pick between these two, William Byron or Alex Bowman in the Final Four?
Willie B.
Think so?
Yeah.
See, I feel like
Bowman's been so consistent though
I
that
feel like Bowman's about to turn it on. As much as they say momentum's not a thing in this sport,
it is. It's everything.
I think for certain people it is.
Yes.
And I think Bowman, he's got that win.
Yep.
I think he's going to have fun now.
Yes.
And I think when Bowman's having fun,
He races
he
so
races
much.
so much better.
Yep.
So much
Yep.
better. And the
No.
whole team and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that's why they've set it up. It's like just this, and you could see it in his post race interview that just this stress release.
Yeah, monkey off his back.
Yes, just came over. I'm like, dude, I'm not the only Hendrick driver that hasn't won this year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the only Hendrick car that didn't qualify for the playoffs.
Just as many wins as Chase Elliott.
Exactly. Yeah.
And a more legitimate win than Chase Elliott, honestly.
I'll die on that hill.
I mean,
Chase Elliott backed into the only win he had this year.
he did.
He did.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll win another one.
No.
But I mean, I could see Bowman going and winning a couple more.
I could too.
Just out of like circumstances.
Yes.
Because he will put himself in position. And we've talked about that a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep running good and you'll get one.
Yeah.
And Alex Bowman is the epitome of that. Just
Yeah.
keep running good, and you'll get one.
And he got one.
And he got one.
Yep.
I think he'll get more.
He earned it.
So, you got any stupid questions this week?
I didn't, man. I didn't have anything.
Man. Think of one.
Okay. Stupid question. We should have talked about this before the
we
show.
should have. That's all right.
Yeah, you were trying to go see a dirt race.
Dude, I do want to see that dirt race. It's going to be pretty good. So, we'll just touch on that real quick. How about that?
That's fine.
So,
Stupid question. Why do you think dirt is so cool?
I don't know, man. It's I've always liked dirt racing, and then I bought Flow.
Yeah.
And I don't have dirt vision, so I looked it up. So my Flow subscription, I think at one time I told you it was $120.
Yeah.
A year. It's $150.
Okay. Yeah, dirt vision is like $200 a year. $300. Okay.
$300.
Because I looked into it one time.
Yeah.
Because that was like, to me, that's like the Netflix of dirt.
It is, because they have a lot.
Yeah.
They have a lot, but it's like I think the superior, and obviously I'm biased, right? I only pay for one of them.
Yeah.
But I think the superior late model national series is Lucas Oil.
Yeah.
So you have Lucas Oil that's national. You have World of Outlaws that's national. I think more stars and more big names are in Lucas Oil.
Yeah.
So RTJ, Ricky Thornton Jr., been lighting the world on fire for the past 2 years. Out of nowhere, well, let me back up a little bit. Hudson O'Neal won the championship last year. Started off the year in his car, the one Rocket House car.
Mm-hmm.
Decided to part ways, ran his own team. And then Ricky Thornton's been with his team for the past 2 years. And dude, he stinks up every show.
Yeah.
Like that car is so good, but also Ricky's very good. So out of nowhere, Ricky gets fired.
Whoa.
He's leading the points by a lot.
Whoa.
He's won 19 races so far this year. 19. Yeah, 19.
Did you guys hear what he just said?
19 races.
How many races? I mean, I know they race every
They race
week.
a lot. They race a lot,
but
yeah.
19?
And not all of those are Lucas Oil races, but still.
19?
He's won the most Lucas Oil races by a lot. Gets fired from his ride. Long story short, Hudson O'Neal ends up taking his ride. So now our Lucas Oil points winner, or points leader, is without a ride. He races a race last week, not a Lucas Oil race. He just finds a ride. And now he is a teammate to Jimmy Owens, the Newport Nightmare.
Yeah.
And
Jimmy.
his first race in that team is tonight. And it's a Lucas Oil race.
Dude, I hope he stinks up the show,
so
wins the whole thing.
So you got Hudson in what is not even arguable the best car.
Yeah.
But
Longhorn chassis?
Longhorn. Well, Ricky's in a Longhorn too.
Okay.
But like, there's just something that SSI Motorsports, where Ricky has figured out. That car is really good. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, we're going to find out tonight, and maybe not tonight. Give him a little grace. Give Hudson a little grace. He's got to get acclimated. But we're still going to find out tonight, like, is it the car? Is it Ricky? What can Ricky do in a car that's not
you
that
need to,
car?
You need to text me because I want to know after who wins.
Yeah.
Like we need to hold a Carson Corey between Hudson and Ricky. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting for sure. And I mean, it's just the late model world's kind of been crazy. And I'm pretty, I've always kind of followed late models, but I didn't have any subscriptions, so it's hard to because they race so much. I mean, they're about to race tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. At 3 different tracks.
Yeah.
So
That's
they just go.
And if you haven't, and we can wrap this up because I know you want to go, but if you haven't been to one of these races, what Flow does, again, 3 different tracks, 3 different cities, probably not that close together.
Yeah.
The production that they put on is surreal. To what you get what you pay for.
For the places they go into.
Yes.
It's nuts.
We went to Smoky Mountain Speedway, and we watched that in person, and that Flow Racing semi was there, man. Yeah. And, oh, my goodness, dude. They do it up as good as they possibly can. And seeing a dirt race, if you haven't seen one, get to one. It is some of the best racing, and you may not know anybody, but pick a guy, Pick a guy and root for him, and you will have a great time. You will meet some characters.
You will meet some
characters. So go into that with an open mind. But dude, it's dirt racing is super fun.
It's
it is
fun,
so fun to watch.
My only complaint with it, and we'll close up here, is there's people that are they're like so dirt fans, they're just anti NASCAR.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that at all. I mean, they're like, it's almost like they think they're the cool kids in school. They're like, well, I watch dirt racing. I don't watch NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like Kyle Larson is finally bridging that gap to where he's like, I don't know why. And even within the dirt community, there's people that are like, well, sprint cars are ridiculous. I only watch late models.
Yeah.
Or like, well, sprint cars are the hardest to drive. Late models are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why everything has to be so controversial in all facets of life, right?
Yes.
That's just where we're at and everything. But just get a Flow subscription and enjoy it.
Yeah,
I mean,
for real.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. But
where are you watching this week?
I guess at my home this weekend. I hope to not be traveling.
I have a tea time Sunday. I got invited. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's
we're
okay,
playing
dude.
Saturday.
Yeah,
just so
sure,
you know.
dude.
But
hey, everybody, give a shout out to Austin. It's his birthday, so not today, but it is
Saturday.
It is his birthday this weekend. So
we're gonna go play some golf and have a good time. And then maybe we can watch the Xfinity race. We're gonna be done so early. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, we could
go
to Core.
I got another golf course I want to go to afterwards. So.
Do you?
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
I'll go if you'll go.
Yep. Oh yeah, I would hate to play 36 holes in one day.
I want to get Colby, who y'all will see. Spencer can touch on that here quick, but get Colby and you go to the patch when we get done.
Let's go. I told you I played the patch for the first time.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty fun.
Now you're gonna play with me.
Oh, play with Daddy. No, but hey, Austin's taking a new job in all seriousness, and so he's going to be gone from us. He's going to be traveling a lot, so we're going to lose him, and that's going to be sad. But we're going to have Colby fill in for him. We don't know how long that's going to be. Hopefully, once he gets through this first month or two, he'll be able to settle back down with us, and we'll have him come on. But Colby is graciously and willing to come on and be my co-host here. Yep. So
the views will go up.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what Colby does.
I don't know why that happens.
Yeah,
but it happens.
It does. Yeah. So tune in for that. If you don't like Austin, he'll be gone after this episode. So, dude, hey, thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, buddy. That was a good episode. I appreciate it, and we'll go watch this dirt race and see what happens.
Let's do it, man. We'll see you.
See y'all.